More now on the ever-expanding trade war between the US and China. Ross Feingold is an Asia political risk analyst. Joins us now live via Skype from Taipei. How much further, Ross, can this go before someone breaks?
It's a good question, and it's something that industry participants, obviously stock markets, and even consumers, and certainly in the United States, are wondering about. President Trump has made it very clear, if there aren't concessions on a range of trade issues, that he would implement these tariffs. He actually moved slower than had earlier been anticipated, because there were several times when he met Xi Jinping in person where there was a bit of a détente. There was a bit of a truce that lasted a few months. But when a deal hasn't been signed, he's then proceeded to implement these tariffs. So the question that we're all trying to understand is, if there is no deal, are we in for a long haul with the tariffs at these rates? And the answer to that is potentially yes. And what other measures could the United States, or in turn China, undertake beyond these increased tariffs?
Ross, what are we to make of President Trump hereby ordering US companies to get out of China and return to making products in the US, which, of course, legally he can't do. He can't order them to do it.
That's right. So we have to be careful to separate President Trump's stylistic way of putting across his message on an important policy issue and what the actual policies of the U.S. government will be. I mean, there's certainly measures the U.S. government could take to encourage companies to return to the United States or to pull out of China. And there's also, you could call them punitive measures, by not giving procurement opportunities, for example, or writing rules that would make it difficult for companies that have operations or investments in China from competing for certain kinds of federal contracts. So definitely this concept of taking some kind of action against companies that continue to have operations, especially manufacturing operations in China, it's not over. There's definitely things that the federal government, at the behest of President Trump, could look at doing.
And if we are in this for the long haul, what are the economic impacts likely to be on people like you, me, and whoever's watching?
You know, this is a great question, because I think it explains in many ways how we got here. Whether it's Xi Jinping or Donald Trump, they looked at the size of their economy, they looked at the mix of imports, exports, things like that, and they decided that each of them decided that they could withstand the tariff increases. In the United States, at the end of 2017, there was a large corporate tax cut. Obviously, unemployment is very low. The economy is doing well. President Trump likes to talk about that. And Xi Jinping, he's looking at expanding exports and trade relationships with countries in Asia. He's even trying to resolve a trade dispute between Japan and South Korea so that China could trade more with those two countries. So each leader seems to have done their calculations and thought that the consumers or their economies can withstand this kind of hit. And the truth is, up to now, the United States has. Obviously, China's economic growth has slowed, but again, both leaders might be taking this bet that their economies could withstand the pain of these increased tariffs, whether it's by passing along the cost to consumers or diversifying supply chains.
Ross, good to talk to you again. Many thanks indeed. Ross Feingold there in Taipei.